Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, we're checking out two EQ plugins new from NoiseAsh. This is the Backs and Motone EQs. The Backs and Motone EQs are the newest additions from NoiseAsh, and we've worked with them before. NoiseAsh has a great series on the Neve style consoles, but now they've sent over two brand new plugins, the Backs EQ and the Motone EQ. But really, there's four plugins because there's the Backs and Motone, but then there's also the Pro versions. The Pro versions do add a couple extra features that the standard versions do not, but it's not something you absolutely need. They're nice to haves. But instead of talking about them, let's dive into the DAW and take a look at these EQs. Okay, so here it is. These are two of the four EQ plugins that we're going to be going over today. Up on top, we have the Backs EQ, and underneath that is the Motone EQ. Both of these are from NoiseAsh. Now, you probably have figured it out already if you're familiar with these things at all, but the Backs EQ is like the Baxandall EQ. This is something we actually see in the Fat channel in Studio One, where I am right now, if you use Studio One. And there's a lot of other variations of the Baxandall EQ out there as well. And then there's also the Motone EQ. This is based on the Motown, that whole area and era of music that came together, one of the EQs that they had and created over there for those records. This isn't where we stop. We also have the Pro versions, and we'll get into those a little bit later. If you're interested in jumping forward to the Pro versions, use the chapters down below, and like we do in these plugin review videos, if you want to jump to the audio examples, use the chapters. So let's get into the controls real quick. And we're going to go kind of very quick because we have a bunch to hit today. So with the Backs EQ, you can see it is 3-band EQ, a low shelf, a high shelf, and a mid peak with an adjustable bandwidth or Q. That is this control in the center here. You select the frequency of the middle with this dial here, going from 155 hertz all the way up to 3.5 kilohertz. And then your gain is up on top. So here's the low section, here's the middle section, and here's the high shelf. It also has filters. There's a high pass filter all the way over here on the left, and there's a low pass filter on the right. And these are definitely very musical sounding filters, starting at 18 hertz, which is kind of pretty famous for the Baxandalls. Then it goes all the way up to 54 hertz. Then if we take this one down and we go to the low pass filter, 70K. Yes, but it is a really gentle curve. So it's just getting rid of all of the gunk on the top ends that you really don't need. And then from 70, it goes all the way down to 7.5. And now you may have noticed two other controls that we didn't go over. Maybe even a couple more, but again, we're going real fast. This button right here engages some preamp saturation to your signal. If you want to have a little bit of extra saturation and harmonics added, preamp is really nice. And the gain control is linked to that. And then underneath that, you have your input adjustment here and also has a built-in meter. The output is on the opposite side, all the way on the right. And in the middle is a width control. This is really cool because we can actually take our signal and separate it out, make it even wider, or bring it down into mono or anywhere in between, as you can see while I'm sliding around. And then if you need to resize the plugin, bottom right corner, just click and drag this around, resize it to your heart's content. So that's the Backs EQ. Now, if we quickly jump down to the Motone, very similar kind of thing, fixed EQ settings. So you can't change these frequencies. All you can do is change how much or how little you're adding or taking away. 50 hertz, 130, 320, 800, 2K, 5K, and 12.5K are the fixed frequencies for this EQ. And then you have a control down here, which is something that they added from NoiseAsh, where you can have it stepped. So if I go to 5K, you can see it's just clicking through. Here's 6 dB, 7 dB, 8 dB. It's going one at a time, and it's only allowing me to hit those numbers. But if I switch this over to continuous, now I can do something like 1.5 dB, 5.4, or whatever you want it to be. Here, 5.61. Sure. Bottom right, high pass filter, low pass filter without frequencies on them. You just have to listen. And the low pass filter doesn't even tell you what frequency it is or allow you to adjust like the high pass filter does. It's either on or off. Do you want it? Cool. Do you not want it, or it's doing too much? Turn it off. Same controls on bottom, input, output, width. Really cool. These are the baseline EQs. Couple other things we didn't do real fast on both of these. Top left is like your menu where you can get to the settings, check for updates, etc., etc. And then you have your preset browser to the right there, and there's a bunch of built-in presets that come from the factory. Really cool. Now we've gone over these EQs. Let's go into the Pro version of both of these. This is the Pro Backs, and this is the Motone Pro. And yes, it does look a bit different because they are different kinds of EQs. I want to put this one up here and make it a bit bigger for everyone. And the same thing for the backs. We'll just kind of put that over here. I think we can all understand that there's nothing underneath or to the left of the 50 hertz control. So where are the differences between the Pro and the standard versions? Well, with the Pro versions on both, you have the ability to go to mid-side mode or to adjust the left and right individually because they have linked controls. So if you want to work in stereo, but you want to adjust to the left different from the right, the Pro is for you. You want to do some mid-side stuff? The Pro is for you because it has mid-side processing built right in. Now we move on to the type. Type actually changes preamp settings. There are two different preamp circuits that you can select with the Backs Pro version, A or B. Then you have your bypass for the preamp right here and the gain for how much gain or saturation you want to create or harmonics. You understand what's going on. So that's the Backs Pro. And if we switch over to the Motone Pro, again, really similar, and actually something we didn't talk about on the Backs Pro, but is available on both Backs and Motone Pro, are nuance deviation channels. That's this section in the bottom middle on the Motone or in the top middle of the Backs Pro. And that's it. These are EQ plugins. So let's go ahead and get into our audio examples right now. The way that we're going to do it is we're actually only going to use the Pro versions of these EQs. Now I dialed some stuff in with the standard versions, but I'm going to go with the Pro right now, and for two reasons. One, I just wanted to use the Pros. I think it's pretty cool. But two, I definitely wanted to do a little bit of mid-side processing with the Motone. I could have done it with the Backs, but the Motone has more frequencies available, and I wanted to be able to go into different sections and just make some modification. So let's listen to what we have going on. I will also say on my mix bus, and both of these EQs are on the mix bus, this is followed up by a Fairchild 670 style compressor. The song we're working on is something I've been working on for a while. It's been a little bit on the back shelf, but that's fine. And it's slower. So I just needed something with a little bit of vibe, a little bit of mojo, and not a lot of squeeze. So I went with a 670. These two EQs are in front of the 670. And now let's listen to the Backs and then the Motone, and then we'll put them together. But first, we'll start with everything off. So there you go. That is the Backs and Motone EQs as well as their Pro versions. If you're interested in picking up any of the EQs you've seen today, use the link down in the description. That's all for now. If you found anything informative, please like and share the video. Want to talk plugins? Maybe even go over some techniques? Join the Discord. There's a link down in the description. I'd love to work with you on your next project, so reach out to me on Discord or head to timflansbaum.com and we can get the process started. And if you have a question, ask it in the comments and I'll answer it in a future video. Thanks for watching.